Hello everyone and welcome back. Now I'm doing guest commentary on a friend of mine, username Catmax, because he sent me a very interesting battle. A lot of weird things happen, including the setups. So let's take a look. Now I know I said that no-dachi samurai aren't good stand-and-fight infantry, and I still stand behind that. But this battle proves that you can make up an army of mostly no-dachis and still win. My biggest complaint with no-dachis is people use them wrong. But this battle will prove that if you can use them right and get that big charge off with their Banzai skill, you can still win. You just got to use them right. So let's look at the force. Like I said, 6 no-dachi samurai make up the core of this army. They're supported by 3 naginatas, all veterans. No, 2 of them are veterans. 3 bow warrior monks, and 2 yari cavalry. So great setup, right? Well, if this was against an infantry build. But this is a cavalry build. He has some infantry hidden off over here. I'll talk about them when they're revealed, so I'll start it. But what do we have? We have 4 bow cavalry, 3 yari cavalry, and 2 great guard. And this battle will show you that even if it looks like you have a crazy advantage like the orange guy did, you still can't get cocky because he makes a lot of blunders that you can probably chalk up to eagerness, or assuming he had this battle won, which he should have if he played right. So here we go. The infantry is revealed. Let's take a look. 3 naginata samurai, a nodachi, and 2 katanas. So my friend Catmax here has this battle cut out for him. He's going to have to play really well to win this. Try and use the terrain, use his naginatas to cut off that cavalry, because his cavalry is just going to tear apart the nodachis if they cut him down. If they get pinned down, they're going to be messed up. Now I know historically the nodachi was sort of like an anti-cavalry weapon, but in this game it doesn't really work like that. So taking some big charges from behind will just destroy him. Even frontal charges will just destroy Catmax's army. He's got to use these naginata as well. And he's got to put out a lot of bait. He's got to try and lure this guy's cavalry into areas where they're vulnerable. So let's take a look. Orange guy is going to set up a nice little camp here on top of this hill. Fingers. And then he's going to start moving his cavalry. I'm not sure why he felt the need to maneuver them all over the map like this. Just looking at this army is extremely weak to cavalry. This army has like no cavalry defenses besides these 3 naginatas. Could have been more frontal about it, and if he were coordinated with his bow cavalry, he could have just torn them apart. So first thing he's going to do is try and get his infantry to move. So he's going to skirmish. He has no archers up here by his infantry, no foot archers. So his bow warrior monks will be able to do some skirmishing. The danger in that is, though, is they're completely vulnerable to cavalry. So he's going to test and see how timid this guy is going to be. So in light of that, he pulls his infantry back to the forest. I'll triple speed it. The rest of his army moves up to kind of support the bows, I think. The naginatas are going to stay back and guard the rear against the cavalry, which seems to be coming around the lake. Way over there. So the infantry is moving up to engage the other guy's infantry. I'll speed it up again because this is just movement. So we have 2 little cavalry fronts developing here. We have the bow cavalry here. Now why did he send the bow cavalry? Let's think about this. You have these archers completely exposed right here. Send in the melee cavalry, because bow cavalry are terrible against, in any kind of melee situation. Even against bow monks, they can lose. And they end up losing, because he ends up charging them in. I'm not sure why. Bow warrior monks are so weak to arrows. You could have just stayed back and skirmished and just destroyed his bow warrior monks. But he sends them all charging in. Terrible, terrible idea. I'm guessing he got cocky. So you got to be careful. I mean, this guy was plenty high ranked. He's got some good ranked veterans. I mean, there's no excuse for being as careless as he did. I mean, look at that. Already down to 63 there. Could have just skirmished. So Catmax knows that he has to be audacious to win this battle. I would never really suggest sending your general in like this, except in this situation where you have a battle that's almost hopeless and you're going to need a miracle to win it, and you have to play extremely aggressively. So he's going to charge his cavalry right into the bows to make a distraction. Now, I believe his general is a melee general, has a lot of defensive upgrades, so he can stand and fight better than most other generals. So he's just going to block the charge here. That's what I mean by blocking a charge with your cavalry. You can get them all mixed up, they start scattering everywhere, and you just really break the charge, and the melee units can swarm them and cut them down, which is what they're doing. They're doing a pretty good job in melee, these bow monks. His cavalry is just getting decimated by both the general and the monks. They're taking morale damage because they're away from the general, too. In the meantime, the melee cavalry is just sitting over here. I mean, again, why he didn't send even one melee cavalry unit is beyond me, and why he would just charge like that. I guess he was looking for the general, looking for an easy kill there. And I guess that's not a bad idea either. But wow, why did he split all his cavalry up to hit the bows? He should have just went straight for the general, because if the general died, he'd be even in a bigger hole than he was in the beginning. So his bow cavalry is just going to get annihilated early on. Sadly for Catmax, most of his archers will too. But a worthy sacrifice, I think, to take out 4 bow cavalry. His bodyguard also took about 15 casualties, so they're down to 21 men. So he's going to bring his general in to kind of support, but he's going to decide to back off. In the meantime, he's putting his infantry here to just be a wall and a deterrent to the melee cavalry, because they're not going to go in yet. Interesting choice. I don't know why he wouldn't have tried and hammered him a little bit. Or even just sent his cavalry around to hit the general. Like, why didn't he bring up his cavalry earlier to support his bow cavalry? There's so many things he did wrong. The cavalry also came up to help too. And they're going to be very important in this early battle. So he's going to send his general up just to hit him. He has the no penalty against spears, which makes him deceptively strong. So he's going to send him up and just kind of hit his units, just kind of pull him out, do a little bit of damage, maybe make his micromanagement harder down here. So he's going to make like he's going for the infantry, but he's going to swoop up towards the cavalry and the bows. So Catmax has an opportunity here. He has a chance to pin down this guy's cavalry and swarm them and cut him down. And if he can do that, he's going to win this battle. So here we go. The bow warrior monks are going to be a distraction. They're going to stop and just take some pot shots, but not for long. Okay. So Catmax is going to have to neutralize this guy's cavalry. So, like I'm always saying in videos, if you have the infantry advantage, you don't need your cavalry to hit the other guy's infantry. You can use them to neutralize the support for the other guy's army. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to use this cavalry to block the charges and pin them down, and hope that he stays long enough in melee thinking he can just wipe out your cavalry. But this is going to be bad for the orange guy. He doesn't need to take out this guy's cavalry. He has so much cavalry compared to Catmax. He doesn't really need to worry about taking him out. So he's just going to sit here and buy time with this Yardi cavalry unit. And when this one dies, he's going to send in the other one. Really good move by Catmax, just to keep that cavalry pinned down. So in the meantime, the infantry can be running up here, ready to swarm the cavalry. So here we go. I will speed it up because it's being slow. So here comes the second cavalry. Gets a good charge off, and these 2 cavalry units took out a lot of cavalry. So really, don't be afraid to throw away units, because if you can just throw away a couple units to severely cripple the other guy's core, then you should definitely do that. So he's going to lose both his cavalry units, but again, he doesn't need it for the infantry fight. All he needs to do is make sure this cavalry dies. And that's what he's doing. We'll look at the numbers. This cavalry's down to 37. This one's down to 47. This one's down to 20. This Great Guard is down to like 52. So he's doing some good damage with just those 2 cavalry units, and buys some time for the infantry to run up and start hitting his cavalry. Really good move by Catmax. That's what you want to do. If you have the infantry advantage, use your cavalry like that, because now the orange guy has lost a lot of cavalry, probably about half. Look how much thinner these ranks are than they were from the beginning. I mean, this one's down to 17 men, 32, 33, and the Great Guards are at 47 and 43. So he did some really good damage with those 2 cavalry units. And remember, he won't need them for the infantry fight. Throw them away. Don't be afraid to make sacrifices. So the infantry battle is going to start raring to go. We have orange guy's infantry is coming down. Now watch how he uses nodachis. That's how you're going to want to use nodachis. I usually say that they're flanking infantry, and that's true. You generally want to use them like that. But frontal charges can be just as good if you pull it off right. And there's something else you have to do. You can't just charge. You also have to use their Banzai ability. There he goes. He just used it. You can see the icon there next to the banner. As they're going to get off a big charge. And we'll take the numbers just after the charge. Once everybody's hit, I'll wait a couple seconds and then check out the numbers. So let's look at this Katana Samurai. Already down 20 men just from that charge. This Nodachi's down 21. And the Naginatas are down about 22. So just with that frontal charge, he killed about 20 men per unit. Really good job. And they'll also act as bait for the cavalry. Good job keeping your Naginatas back. Don't waste them in the infantry fight. But though he kind of threw one up here, I guess that was a good decision, just to be solid, so when the cavalry hits him, they'll have some naginatas there. So he's going to send his cavalry into the backs of the infantry, but that Banzai ability, they won't rout when they have that active. So the cavalry's not going to rout them. And that'll buy time to get them pinned down, and the Yari, or the naginatas, are going to come up and start hitting the cavalry too. So orange guy is losing the infantry battle big time. That big charge that Catmax got off really crippled his infantry. And so the infantry battle is basically won. We already have some wavering over here, taking that charge. This naginata is down to 55, as opposed to this nodachi, which is at 100. So good nodachi use. Catmax proving that the nodachi core can work, if you, even if it's a majority of your army. I normally say keep them as flankers and have them be just a couple units, but my stance is changing. So a well-placed rally by the general as he sends him in to attack the Great Guard. Again, being very audacious with the general, taking some big risk, and I believe he dies. But with the Banzai and the rally, it's not really going to matter that much. He's inspired this Naginata samurai, and the cavalry is just going to get caught up by the Naginatas. Really good spear micromanagement. It's really important to have that against these cavalry corps. So we'll see some wavering over here, but he's still only at half dead. Meanwhile, the infantry's just been pretty much wiped out over here by that Nodachi samurai. Great Nodachi samurai use. This Great Guard is down to 6 men. Yes, there goes the general. They are shattered, but they took out a Great Guard. Good use. The rally is still active from the general, so even though he died, they're not going to rout because they have the rally active. So good job using that rally. If you fear your general's going to die, it's a good idea to use that rally just in case he does. So I'm going to look at this wedge formation. Okay, too many cavalry people keep their cavalry in wedge formation all the time. That's a terrible, terrible idea because it really cuts down on your maneuverability, especially when you're trying to run around spears. Okay, when I see people doing hit and run tactics as cavalry, I get really annoyed. It's very, very hard to maneuver when you're in the wedge formation because look at that, they have to keep that formation and then get caught up to by the spears. Just hit them with a normal charge if you're doing hit and runs. Only use that wedge formation on a dedicated pinned down enemy. Otherwise, just use the normal formation. And the wedge formation isn't even that good. I mean, it's not that much better than normal formation anyway. So just, please, don't use it for hit and run tactics. Don't just keep your cavalry in wedge formation by default. It's a terrible idea, because now we're going to get pinned down with that terrible maneuverability. Just awful cavalry use. Wow. I mean, orange guy had this battle in the bag, basically. But just really awful cavalry use. I mean, just terrible. Terrible. And really good moves by Catmax. Really aggressive moves, setting up bait, luring him in, pinning down that cavalry. Great job. Really good no-dachi charge. That's how you want to do it. Spread them out. Get everybody the charge bonus, because you have them coming in one after the other, like right behind each other. You won't get that charge bonus. So spread them out. Catmax had almost a perfect battle here. I mean, there may be some things he could have done different, but it all worked out. So Great Guard is going to waver. His infantry is just obliterated here. They'll rout with those nodachi charges. Kill a lot of guys really fast, they'll waver. So he's going to rally and stand and fight, but it's too late now. And they're just going to get cut down. And once these guys shatter, that'll be the end of the battle. So when you saw the two armies, you probably weren't expecting that result, were you? And in truth, it shouldn't have happened. But don't go into battles getting all cocky thinking you have the win in the bag when you don't. Tactics will beat strength and unit setups and matches every time. Tactics win. Spamming things, not thinking about what you're doing, will lose you battles against people who know what they're doing. And Catmax did a great job. He set bait, was very aggressive, didn't just sit back, and won this battle. So I hope some of you Nodachi guys get some inspiration from this. It was a really interesting build. I'm going to have to try it in the future too. I really like the big charge thing going on. It's really symbolic of the aggressive attack, and I really like it. I might make an army like this myself. So thanks for watching, everybody. And don't be like the orange guy.